ever felt like it's too late to learn something new? Like the window of opportunity to pick up a new skill is already closed, and you're stuck in the routines of adulthood? What if I told you that the idea of being too old to learn is just a myth, one that's holding so many of us back from unlocking our full potential? Welcome to Thrive, the channel dedicated to education, personal growth, and making life better. Here, we explore how learning and self-improvement can transform not just our careers, but our entire lives. Whether you're looking to pick up a new hobby, advance in your profession, or simply become the best version of yourself, this is the space for you. In today's episode, we're diving into a topic that resonates with so many of us: learning a new skill as an adult, breaking down the barriers. We'll talk about the common challenges we face, how to shift our mindset, and practical strategies to make learning not just possible, but enjoyable. So, if you've ever told yourself, "I'm too old for this," or "I don't have the time," stick around. By the end of this episode, we hope to inspire you to take that first step towards something new, because thriving is about growth, and growth knows no age limit.
Let's start by addressing the elephant in the room. Why is it so hard to learn something new as an adult? It's not that we're incapable, far from it. In fact, adults often have more focus, discipline, and life experience than younger learners. But there are real barriers that can make the process feel overwhelming. Let's break them down. 1. Time constraints. As adults, our lives are often packed with responsibilities, work, family, social commitments, and more. Finding time to sit down and learn a new skill can feel impossible. We tell ourselves, "I'll get to it when things calm down," but let's be honest. When does life ever really calm down? 2. Fear of failure. Here's a truth we don't talk about enough. The older we get, the more we fear looking foolish. Whether it's trying to learn a new language, play an instrument, or master a tech tool, the thought of making mistakes in front of others, or even by ourselves, can be paralyzing. We start to think, what if I'm not good at this? What if I fail? 3. Fixed mindset. Many of us grew up believing that learning is something you do when you're young. By the time we reach adulthood, we've internalized the idea that our brains aren't as flexible or capable as they once were. We tell ourselves, "I'm too old to learn this," or "I'm just not a tech person," or "I'm not creative enough." These limiting beliefs become self-fulfilling prophecies. 4. Financial or resource limitations. Let's face it, learning something new can be expensive. Whether it's the cost of a course, the tools you need, or even just the time off work, financial barriers can feel insurmountable. And if you don't know where to find affordable or free resources, it's easy to give up before you even start. 5. Lack of motivation or direction. Sometimes the biggest barrier is simply not knowing where to begin. With so much information available online, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. We might think, "What's the point of learning this?" Or "How do I even get started?" Without a clear goal or plan, it's hard to stay motivated. These barriers are real, but here's the good news: they're not insurmountable. In fact, simply being aware of them is the first step toward overcoming them. And that's exactly what we're going to explore next: how to shift our mindset and develop strategies to break through these challenges. But before we move on, let's take a moment to reflect. Which of these barriers resonates most with you? Is it the lack of time, the fear of failure, or something else? Whatever it is, know that you're not alone, and that there's a way forward.
You're with Thrive, the channel dedicated to education, awareness, and elevating daily life. Stay tuned and let's thrive.
Now that we've identified the barriers, let's talk about how to overcome them. And it all starts with our mindset. The way we think about learning and ourselves can make all the difference. So, let's explore some powerful mindset shifts that can set us up for success. 1. Embrace a growth mindset. You might have heard of the concept of a growth mindset, popularized by psychologist Carol Dweck. In simple terms, it's the belief that our abilities aren't fixed. They can grow and improve with effort and practice. For adults, this means letting go of the idea that we're too old to learn or that we're just not good at certain things. Instead, we can start telling ourselves, I might not know this yet, but I can learn. It's a small shift in language, but it can have a huge impact on how we approach challenges. 2. Redefine failure. Let's be honest. Failure doesn't feel good. But what if we started seeing failure not as a dead end, but as a stepping stone? Every mistake is an opportunity to learn and grow. Think about it. When a toddler is learning to walk, they fall down dozens of times. But they don't give up. They keep trying, and eventually they're running. As adults, we can adopt the same attitude. Instead of fearing failure, we can embrace it as part of the process. 3. Start small. One of the biggest mistakes we make as adults is trying to do too much too soon. We set lofty goals like, I'm going to learn Spanish in a month, and when we don't meet them, we feel discouraged. But learning is a marathon, not a sprint. Instead of aiming for perfection, we can focus on progress. Maybe today, you learn just 5 new words. Or maybe you spend 10 minutes practicing a new skill. Small, consistent steps add up over time. Four, celebrate small wins. Speaking of progress, let's not forget to celebrate it. Too often, we focus on how far we have to go rather than how far we've come. But every step forward is worth acknowledging. Did you finally understand a concept that's been confusing you? Celebrate that. Did you carve out 20 minutes to practice? Even on a busy day? That's a win. By celebrating these small victories, we build momentum and stay motivated. 5. Be patient with yourself. Here's a hard truth. Learning as an adult can take longer than it did when we were kids. Our brains might not absorb information as quickly, and our lives are more complicated. But that's okay. The key is to be patient with ourselves. Progress might be slow, but it's still progress. Remember, the goal isn't to be perfect. It's to keep moving forward. These mindset shifts aren't just theoretical. They're practical tools we can use every day. By embracing a growth mindset, redefining failure, starting small, celebrating wins, and being patient, we can create a foundation for successful learning. But mindset alone isn't enough. In the next section, we'll dive into practical strategies to turn these shifts into action.
This is Thrive, your top resource for learning, enlightenment, and everyday life transformation. Keep listening and let's thrive together.
Now that we've shifted our mindset, let's talk about action. How can we actually overcome the barriers we face and make learning a new skill as adults not just possible but enjoyable? Here are some practical strategies to help you get started. 1. Time management tips. Let's face it, time is one of the biggest challenges for adults. But here's the thing, you don't need hours a day to make progress. Start by blocking out small, dedicated chunks of time in your schedule. Even 15 to 20 minutes a day can add up over time. Think of it as micro-learning. For example, if you're learning a language, use an app like Duolingo during your morning coffee. If you're learning to code, spend 20 minutes before bed practicing. The key is consistency, not quantity. 2. Finding the right resources. With so much information out there, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But the good news is, there are countless affordable, or even free resources available. Platforms like YouTube, Coursera, Udemy, and Khan Academy offer courses on almost any topic you can imagine. Local libraries often have free workshops or online resources too. And don't forget about communities. Forums, Facebook groups, or local meetups can provide support, accountability, and even mentorship. 3. Setting clear goals. One of the best ways to stay motivated is to set clear, achievable goals. Use the SMART framework. Make your goals specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For example, instead of saying, "I want to learn photography," try, "I want to master manual camera settings and take 10 well-composed photos by the end of the month." Breaking down big skills into smaller, manageable steps makes the process less daunting and more rewarding. 4. Building a support system. Learning doesn't have to be a solo journey. Find a mentor, coach, or even a learning buddy who shares your goals. Having someone to share your progress with, or even just vent to, can make a huge difference. If you're learning something technical like coding, join an online community where you can ask questions and get feedback. And don't underestimate the power of accountability. Tell a friend or family member about your goals, and ask them to check in on your progress. 5. Staying motivated. Let's be real. Motivation can come and go. That's why it's important to remind yourself why you're learning this skill. Visualize the benefits. Maybe it's landing a new job, starting a side hustle, or simply feeling proud of yourself. Track your progress too. Keep a journal or use an app to log what you've learned. And when you hit a milestone, no matter how small, celebrate it. Rewarding yourself keeps the journey fun and fulfilling. These strategies aren't just theoretical. They're tools you can start using today. Whether it's carving out time, finding the right resources, or building a support system, the key is to take that first step. And remember, progress is progress, no matter how small. As we wrap up today's episode, let's take a moment to recap what we've covered. We talked about the common barriers adults face when learning new skills: time constraints, fear of failure, fixed mindsets, and more. We explored how shifting our mindset, embracing growth, redefining failure, and celebrating small wins can set us up for success. And we discussed practical strategies, from time management to finding the right resources and building a support system. But here's the most important takeaway. Learning a new skill as an adult isn't just about the skill itself. It's about the person you become in the process. It's about proving to yourself that you're capable of growth, no matter your age or circumstances. So here's my challenge to you. This week, take one small step toward learning that skill you've been putting off. Maybe it's signing up for a free online course, practicing for 10 minutes a day, or simply writing down your goal. Whatever it is, take that first step. And if you're feeling inspired, we'd love to hear from you. Share your learning journey with us on social media or send us an email. Let's build a community of lifelong learners who support and inspire each other. Remember, thriving is about growth, and growth knows no age limit. As the saying goes, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. So what are you waiting for? Let's get started. Thank you for tuning in to Thrive. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep thriving.